So let's say they ask you to simplify this one for 4 marks. Now, the first thing you have to do here is to make sure that 9 is written in exponential form to base 3. Then the second term, you write it as it is. Then we go to the denominator. So we see that we have square root 3, but we understand that square root 3 is the same as 3 raised to the power half. That's what we know. Now the whole thing is further raised to the 4x plus 1. Then we go to the first term in the numerator. We distribute the 2. So then we get 3 raised to the 2x plus 2. Now this term, we still write it as it is. Then we go to the denominator. We distribute the half. So we say half times 4x, it's 2x. Half times 1, it's a half. Then from this point, if we look at these two terms in the numerator, we are thinking of a common factor. So we realize that both of them, they have 3 to the 2x in common. However, we can't access it readily in the first term because of the plus 2 there. So we have to break it up first. In other words, we reverse the first law of exponents. So we say before it became this, it was once 3 to the 2x times 3 squared. And then this one, we still write it as it is, like that. Then we do the same to the denominator. We reverse the first law. So before it became this, it was once 3 to the 2x times 3 to the half. Or you can just say square root half if you like. Sorry, square root 3. So let's say that. Fine stuff. Then from this point, we take 3 to the 2x out as a common factor. So if we do, we are left with 3 squared from the first term, which is just 9. And then from the second term, we are left with 6. Then we say the whole thing is simply divided by 3 to the 2x times square root 3, like that. And then you say this one and this one, they cancel out. After canceling out, you are left with 9 minus 6, which is 3. And this is divided by square root 3. So let's write it again as an exponent. So we know that the exponent of 3 is 1. So we say when dividing powers of the same basis, we take one base, then we subtract the exponents. So if you say 1 minus half, it's just going to be a half, which if you like, you can write as the square root of 3. And then you should be happy for this one. So let's say they give you this one. They ask you to simplify it for 3 marks. What are you going to say in this case? So here they say you have 9 to the x. Then you say plus 3 raised to the 2x plus 1. And then you say the whole thing is divided by what? By 18 to the power x times 2 to the negative x. So simplify this for 3 marks. Now, the first thing we do is to make sure that 9 is written in exponential form to base 3. So it's going to be 3 squared, which is further raised to the x. Then we multiply the exponents, so we end up having something like this. Then we still say plus 3 raised to the 2x plus 1. And then we come to the denominator now. So if you look at 18, you realize that we can't write it in exponential form, but we can write it as a product of its prime bases. In other words, when I see 18, I actually see 2 times 9. But then 9, I understand that it's 3 squared. And everything is raised to the x. Then we still say times 2 to the negative x. Then from this point, we are going to apply a rule that says, if you have 2 numbers which are multiplied together and they are raised to a certain exponent, so these numbers, they have a right to claim this exponent, both of them. So this is what we are going to say. Now it's going to be the exponent of 2 multiplied by x, the exponent of 3, which is 2, multiplied by x. Are you fine? So we'll have 3 to the 2x, and then we say plus 3 to the 2x plus 1. Then we go to the denominator. We say it's going to be 2 to the x times 3 to the 2x. And then we still say times 2 to the negative x. So if you focus on these two, when multiplying powers of the same basis, we add the exponents. So you can see that you'll end up having 2 to the power 0. And 2 to the power 0 is precisely 1. But we have to show that, remember, you show all your workings. But now if you look at the numerator, you have 2 terms, and you realize that you have 3 to the 2x as the highest common factor. But in order for you to access it here, you must reverse the first law. So you'll have 3 to the 2x, and then you say plus. You have 3 to the 2x times 3. Then you run away, you go to your denominator. So in your denominator, you can say it's 3 to the 2x times 2 to the 0. You can say that. Or you can say times 1. It's up to you. But what is important, you are now at the point where you can factorize the numerator. So you say 3 to the 2x is a common factor. If you take it out, you are left with 1 from the first term, and you are left with 3 from the second term. Then you say the whole thing is divided by what? By 3 to the 2x. Maybe you can say times 1, so that you show them that any number to the power 0 is 1. Then this one and this one will cancel out. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 divided by 1 will just be 4. And then you should be fine.